Courage. True courage is being afraid and going ahead and doing your job anyhow. That's what courage is. Real courage is when you know you licked before you begin, but you begin anyway and see it through no matter what. Fearlessness is not possible. It is ultimate joy. When you touch non-fear, you are free. Courage is a special kind of knowledge. The knowledge of how to fear what ought to be feared and how not to fear what ought not to be feared. The only service a friend can really render is to keep your courage by holding up to you a mirror in which you can see a noble image of yourself, the truth about yourself. True courage is not the brutal force of vulgar heroes, but the firm resolve of virtue and reason. Courage is often lack of insight, whereas cowardice in many cases is based on good information. The trials on the road to world harmony are no greater than the courage of those who accept the challenge. A lot of people do not muster the courage to live their dreams because they are afraid to die. A timid person is frightened before a danger or a threat, a coward during the time, and a courageous person afterward. A great part of courage is the courage of having done the thing before. It is only necessary to have courage, for strength without self-confidence is useless. People with courage and character always seem sinister to the rest of the world. Either you decide to stay in the shallow end of the pool, or you go out in the ocean deep down to swim. Courage, a perfect sensibility of the measure of danger, and a mental willingness to endure it. How few there are who have courage enough to own their faults, or resolution enough to mend them. If you could get up the courage to begin, you have the courage to succeed. Everyone has talent. What is rare is the courage to follow the talent to the dark place where it leads. Have courage for the great sorrows of life and patience for the small ones. And when you have laboriously accomplished your daily task, go to sleep in peace. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far can one go to achieve the things he wants. Never bend your head, never bow down, always hold it high. Look the world straight in the eye. He who's not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Courage is not simply one of the virtues, but the form of every virtue at the testing point. Loyalty and devotion lead to bravery. Bravery leads to the spirit of self-sacrifice. The spirit of self-sacrifice creates trust in the power of love. He is a man of courage who does not run away, but remains at his post and fights against the enemy. There are no easy answers, but there are simple answers. We must have the courage to do what we know is morally right. The greatest test of courage on earth is to bear defeat without losing heart and losing the motivation. Let us not pray to be sheltered from dangers, but to be fearless when facing them. The opposite of courage in a society is not cowardice, it's conformity. Courage is doing what you're afraid to do. There can be no courage unless you are scared of doing what you are doing. The eagle has no fear of adversity. We need to be like eagle and have fearless spirit of a conqueror. Courage is the greatest of all virtues, because if you haven't courage, you may not have an opportunity to use any of the others. Failure is unimportant. It takes courage to make a fool of yourself. It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies, to our foes, but just as much to stand up to our friends. The opposite of courage is not cowardice, it's conformity. Even a dead fish can go with the flow. Courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway. The only courage that matters is the kind that gets you from one moment to the next. Those who lack the courage will always find a philosophy to justify it, to defend their cowardliness. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the strength, the courage, the determination to lose sight of the shore. Jump and you will find out how to unfold your wings as you fall. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. You will never do anything in this world without courage. You will never be able to do anything. It is the greatest quality of the mind next to honor. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen peacefully. Mistakes are always forgivable, if one has the courage to admit them. Only then. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Faced with what is right, to leave it undone shows a lack of courage. The courage to be is the courage to accept oneself. In spite of being unacceptable, courage is not the absence of despair. It is rather the capacity to move ahead in spite of despair. The minute a person whose word means a great deal to others dare to take the open-hearted and courageous way, many others follow.